So we are on to our final plenary session. This one is going to be a little bit of a mishmash. We have three younger leaders. They're not youth, right? But they are all, I think, south of me in terms of age. And we're going to bring them up along with a number of young people. One to kind of share not only their experience, but also the experience of the conference itself and how they're able to, bring in a summary of what they learned. So the speakers that we do have are my good friend Jordan Peterson, Mr. Tlaman. He told me to say that it's an inside joke to his family, so they're like, it was great that you said that. And of course, Grand Chief Jackson Lafferty. So if you would like to come up, and I believe that we have a couple of youth identified, but if there are young people who want to come up that were part of the youth land claim or the claims the claims simulation, you guys come on up and grab a seat. Yes.
May I? So Jackson just wants to say a few words before they get into the reflection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so this one might run, that's why I tried to keep everybody to their time, because I know we're on to 4:15. People might be starting to get hungry again. Certainly those individuals who have diabetic conditions, if you need to get up and have a snack or anything else, please do so. We're a little thin on the young people, so maybe if we could have one or two more young people to come up. And I believe Grand Chief Lafferty is going to do a sort of a bit of a quick opening, and then we're going to go through each speaker. And then we're going to go through each of the young people, give them a chance to sort of share what they witnessed and experienced during their time here at the LCAC conference.
Are you? Yeah.
Nice to see you again.
Hey, young, stand up.
Ethan.
Jackson?
I don't think we've officially met. I know Cheyenne.
Yes. 3 days ago.
I just invited him up. Everybody here told me that you wanted to do a little preamble before we got going.
Oh. I thought everybody was last year. I'm too old. Hi, my name is Marlisa.
Hi, I'm Elijah. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
He can do whatever you feel like. Like I said, this one is mismatch.
Okay.
Were you planning to come up before too, or are you just on a whim?
Merci.
Just on this.
Zont honti gutsne ade masine isin. Dia da sakhuin gutsne de onde masige fonde. Zont zohin amida chungud de hin da zala da mo de kwande. Zont zont moderator le Steve Masi wisin. Zont da aiga ztin da zont dundesun de kawu yagin le LCAC go yonde. Nanda sin la zete kan da wuk eji. Da sajani sane zete da. Hasi zete tunla ni onde. Gudina zete sin la ni. Ano won za dani de zon na kids la ni sa za kwe. Asi tlon won gu zin de onde. Ano ai da na ki wata a won gu gin de yon da zon sekure kwe. Ai zon la da mo ke zai ti de sekure tlon de kwe. Ge ga zhe di onde. An zon ai ga ge ga na da zai de. A zhe di onde. De di yon da non dede got la hoge de ta not from har hun di onde ka hins go ya ti ni londe on da ngi ya ti onde ane so ai ta di se khogi he za ka a ge sa go za du la ni ai da thun ta ha de ge thun so ne ai da thun go di na ge sin so ne ta han ni ga za ti onde na hiyo ta kwachi de yasin ka de yasin ta la da mo a kwe ko tsne a de ta la na sa ka ka ande anyo ta di zhe ka ya zhe tian ta xian hua da de wo da zhe tian de federal minister go gan da ta asina cha ga on hai ta ta wo da zhe de a yi zong ta 마시 어쩌디야 더 넣자는데 아서 이가 다 시야티다 다 발라서 하야티호 아이tlande 퀴팅야티다 사운데 First of all, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone for being here with us. I know it's been a very successful last couple of days. There's been a lot of interaction. But first of all, I'd just like to say thank you to our moderator, Steve. I know it's not an easy job being here, standing in front of people. I used to be shy one time, but it does take a great effort and a dedication and a commitment to make positive changes for our communities, our community members. And we have young people here with us, and I was very happy to see our own young people here as well from my region. And I'd like to see more of an increase in numbers because they are the ones who we are speaking for. And when Tammy spoke earlier about her presentation, we're talking about those unborn children still to come. And we are making progress. The last 20 years since we've been here, we've seen results yesterday from Minister Miller's comments and also announcement. The whole implementation policy, modern treaty. It is about working together, collaboration, cooperation, relationship building. That's the whole purpose why we're here today. Networking, getting to know one another, moving forward in a very positive manner. In my view, this is a pathway and a gateway, also a journey to true reconciliation with the federal government. So this is a new beginning, a new journey that we are embarking on. I know we've had our struggles in the past, our challenges, but those challenges create more opportunities. Today, we've seen those opportunities moving forward. So I'm very honored and happy to be amongst you. And I know we are pressed for time as usual, but at the same time, I spoke my language because I feel it's important. We brought our elders, our youth as well, and our assembly members. Every one of us speak our traditional language. So we kept our language alive, which is very important. I know, I'm going to pick on one. Sky, can you stand up for Sky for a second? So Sky is an assembly member from Bishakon, and she's learning her language. And I would say she's fluent in understanding, and now she's starting to speak it. And we're trying to encourage her to speak at every assembly, and she's doing a fantastic job. I just want to say merci. And I just want to say merci to my chiefs and assembly members and elders and also the youth for being part of this very special gathering today. So with that, I'm just going to close out by saying that we have had a very successful to date of our meeting. And I'd like to say merci cho to chair and co-chair of LCAC, having this a very productive meeting this week and going forward. So with that, we'll allow the interaction with our youth here today. That's the whole purpose why we're here today. Merci.
Okay. Thank you very much, Grand Chief. I call out now upon my buddy Jordan to come up and say a few words as well.
Once a chief, always a chief, right, Steve? Thanks, everyone, and thanks, Grand Chief, for those kind words and encouraging words, especially for your youth and the revitalization of language. I think as we kind of have a bit of a discussion over the next hour, we want to make sure that kind of the conversation is about our young people, about us looking forward. We heard a lot about what's been going on, the past, and this is really an opportunity for our youth up on the stage with us to be able to explain and share their ideas, their thoughts, their sentiments about what has been a really great 2 days. So with that, I will maybe ask the first question, and we'll get either Nishka youth to answer the first question. The question is, how do you think we can get more young people to come and participate in this kind of a process, in our modern treaty process and implementation? And yeah, I'll hand it over to you to answer.
You can speak right into the mic, Patrick. Just tap it.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to collect my thoughts at the moment. It's a little bit nerve-wracking sitting up here and looking at all these people, but I imagine that's how everyone has felt at one point. Everyone has been nervous at the front stage, and I'm hoping I can grow from this and just keep learning to speak in this mic. And I think the one way we could get youth to attend these is to show them and teach them just how important our culture is. When we go home and go back to our youth, I feel we need to keep pushing to integrate our daily culture into our daily lives. And I think with that, they will gain a greater appreciation for what their culture means. Thank you. Kabike.
And we'll call on any other youth that may want to answer that question as well. Maybe introduce yourself too.
Hello. Okay, there we go. Cherie Marlisa Vilgi. My name is Marlisa Brown. I am Nita Gwich'in, originally from Inuvik, Northwest Territories. I am I'm a co-founder of Treaty Talks NWT, along with JC Hagenfirth and Peter Greenland, who are not here. We are an Indigenous youth-led organization, and essentially what we do is we like to talk about treaties in the Northwest Territories. So we talk about historic, modern treaties, we talk about oral histories, we talk about place names, and all these sorts of things, because treaties are connected to so much more than just the normative discourse of the modern and historic treaties. They're connected to culture, they're connected to language, they're connected to our relationship to land, and a lot, our community, including who we are as people on a collective level as well as an individual level. And I wanted to bring up Treaty Talks because before coming here, I was thinking to myself, when did I learn about the LCAC? And it really wasn't until I started working for government. That's where I found out about it. And I thought, okay, well, if I only found out then, how can I get that information out? So I made a post on our social media I'm sorry I can't bring it up. I just kind of came up here on a whim because this is something that Jordan Peterson likes to do, is throw us under the bus. He's done this at negotiation tables too, where he's got me to do a prayer, and oh boy. So I made a post on there. If you want to pull it up on Instagram or Facebook, I don't think I posted it on LinkedIn quite yet, but I have a post on there that's essentially just bringing awareness to what LCAC is. And I spoke with the people at Envision about it before posting as well. And so I was hoping really that would sort of get out to people exactly what it is. And I feel like social media is such a great resource. And going back to I believe it was the Gordon Foundation, they had these videos, and I remember seeing Ryan Peterson on there talking at this conference a couple years ago. Maybe she could speak to it, I don't know. I don't want to do what Jordan does either to you. But yeah, just seeing her and hearing her experience and perspective of being at this conference, that was really moving for me to see. And honestly, I was just like, yeah, you go, Gwich'in girl. Like, so nice to see that representation. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. And if anyone else has anything else to add. Treaty Talks NWT. Yeah. Oh, okay, so it's Treaty Talks NWT. You can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Things are a bit slow going, though, in terms of our social media content. We all have our day-to-day jobs, and so we kind of do this outside during our free time as well. So it is a bit slow going, but we are looking to get more things out there in terms of, for example, what's the difference between a band council and land corporation? These are sorts of questions that we see a lot within our communities, especially in terms of implementation committees. A lot of people know about negotiations for the agreement, and that's kind of where it stops at. A lot of other people don't understand there's implementation committees that meet like 3 times a year, and there's an implementation plan that accompanies these agreements as well. And so there's a lot of knowledge out there that we feel through social media or having in-person or online gatherings would be able to make that bridge and connections with people to have these conversations, because they need to be happening a lot more.
Way to go.
Marlisa, do you want to also share what your job is?
Oh, so I am an implementation advisor with the Government of the Northwest Territories. I work on the Satu-Denu Métis Comprehensive Land Claim Agreement, as well as the Delaney Final Self-Government Agreement. However, I am on maternity leave right now. My partner is with the kids, and he's doing fine. Yeah.
Everything you just said is the reason I dragged you up here. Dylan, do you want to ask the next question?
Greetings, fellow youth. Just what I was thinking about is I wonder if any of you have any ideas for topics or content that you'd like to see next year. I know that I'm just surprising you with the question, but just wanted to see if there was anything you had in mind, suggestions for content for next year that maybe attract some fellow youth.
Dante, oops. ING ugatatsanama uye, English ke ING, Cheyenne Sparvier Kini uye, Kaja iche, Dakwakada ninde, ye Dakwakada niyashu. My given name is Ugatatsanama. My English name is Cheyenne Sparvier Kini. I am Crow Clan, and I live in Dakwakada, Haines Junction, Yukon Territory. I'm just going to put this idea out there because it's an idea that I had in my team's approach this year. I was on Team Government Canada, Group A. And the way that I wanted to approach it was in a way that we would like to see Canada handle things as opposed to how we've seen things done in the past. And I know a lot of people feel maybe their treaty may be infringed upon in some ways. So yeah, I just had brought it up to my group that it would be fun to approach it in that way. And so I'm just putting that out there for youth who are going to come into the simulation next year, just as to dream big. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Any other youth? Ryan?
I don't have any ideas for what I'd like to see. Okay, all right. Hi, everybody. My name is Ryan Peterson. I'm also an implementation advisor with the GNWT. Marlisa is my colleague. I have to say as well that I am also a Gwich'in participant under the Gwich'in Comprehensive Land Claim Agreement. Our Grand Chief is here. I should also say that I am a student with the Yukon University doing an Indigenous governance program. I won't answer the question, but I just want to share my experience. And firstly, I just want to say that I kind of feel like I'm an imposter up here because I no longer fall under the youth category, but definitely still young at heart. And I just have gotten so much out of this weekend. I still do feel like a noob at this conference. This is my second one, but at my first one, I did participate in the treaty simulation, much like some of the youth here, and I just got so much out of that experience. You know, at the beginning of the day yesterday, Dave Joe talked about how, you know, he wants us to fulfill these Section 35 treaty rights within the treaties. And, you know, how he's laid this foundation, not him, but like, you know, the people who have come before us. And, you know, and he wants us to complete that circle. And, you know, I got so much out of that asking of us. And, you know, I'm just so in awe when my first time coming and now my second time coming of the people who sit up here, who stand at the mic, and these people who are just kind of like implementation giants to me. Like, implementation gods, if I could say that. Like, you know, when they've dedicated their life to this, they put their, you know, it's like there's a passion to it. You know, they put their heart and soul into it. And I just look up to these people who do this. And I hope to be one of those people one of these days, you know, and that's why I'm on this path. And yeah, I have gotten so much out of the different breakout sessions that I've been at. You know, I attended Ingrid and, Alice Dean's, yeah, and at the elders, you know, you touched on that. Like, you must have gotten so much out of your 30 years experience with the elders. Like, I just can't even imagine. So thank you for sharing that experience with us. And I think it was Nuri who touched on the importance of upholding the spirit and intent in the treaties. And it's like, yes, you know, like, yes. And the people, it's just like, there was just so much, you know, and like, I'll take that home with me. And yeah, that's where I'm at. Thanks.
Masi dia da lasle gosa duki nazion de sekuge. It's also the kiada honde. It's this is a very interesting twist to our panel discussion, which is great. And we were caught off guard, but we're doing good. I just have a question, because when I see around the tables, you know, down the road, I'd like to see, at the bare minimum, 1 or 2 youth sitting at each table. I think that would go a long way. And I'm just wondering, how can we make that happen, or how can we involve and include our young generation at this high-level discussion? I'm just curious of how we can do that. Merci.
Make it attractive? I just attended Marlisa's treaty education breakout session, and they talked about promoting, this, but like on the opposite side or on the spectrum of promotion, like how are you going to make it attractive? It's like, it's the passion. Like that's what I'm getting out of Marlisa and her dedication to this treaty talks is like there's passion behind it, and that's attractive. So it's like, the people who attend these treaty talk sessions is like getting that word out there. And yeah, I think it's the attraction posts versus the promotion of it.
Yep.
Okay. Ajajepud Emily Atnan. I am from Tla'amin Nation. Dylan dragged me up here about 5 minutes before this started, so I've been gathering my thoughts as I've been sitting here. I work in policy and intergovernmental relations for Tla'amin Nation, primarily implementing our treaty. And I've been thinking about this question. I think it does connect to the first question you guys also asked. And I would really love to see within our own communities and our departments that work on this kind of work, I think we do need to be having standing positions for youth. I would love to see rotating youth come and work within our department and witness the work and be able to contribute their ideas in a meaningful way. So I really do think it starts from home, and then organizations like the Gordon Foundation, who supported the youth with travel costs, like that is a really big barrier for a lot of our communities. So I'm really thankful to have the opportunity to be able to come. So thank you.
So I think we're on the right track right now with just allowing the youth the space to be at the table and to use their voices. At another conference, there was some youth, I think, representing AFN speaking, and I found it really inspirational. So I think hearing other youth and their experiences is a really one to help. But I think for myself, like to get youth within my community involved, that I'm going to talk about my experience that I had at the simulation, and I even like the idea of like how we had our mock negotiation, like to do that within my community and just be having relevant topics and just planting those seeds for youth to, when they come our age, be involved as well. Thank you.
Treaty talks, Yukon.
Okay, let's see. A bit of an unfleshed thought, but envision, you can link up with Treaty Talks, NWT, if you like. The one thing I was thinking about was if there could be applications out there for people to express interest for it. I feel like that's very important to have, but also spreads the word about it. I feel like these spaces are really great for learning. Just kind of tying back to the second question, or third, I can't remember at this point, that we had about what do we need, especially for the next gatherings. And it's all, to have even just the basics of what treaties are. I feel like there's still a lot of people who I've talked to and that I know that even though they do come to these spaces, they still just don't know the history of that. And that's sort of the things that they want to get to know, but then we have these spaces that are sort of built on the assumption that you already have the foundational knowledge to be able to engage in these conversations, but that's not always the case for every single person. So at least if there could be maybe like a breakout room that does go over that information. I'm not sure if there is or not, I hadn't seen, or if there was in the past or not, but if there was, definitely keep that sort of work up as well. And especially for youth, I think it's like so important to also be highlighting what career paths you can take in terms of treaties, because there's so much out there that people don't know about. And we have so many implementation bodies as well, not just through the implementation committees, but those that come from the co-management boards and such like that, that people can get involved in. And so creating space for youth in all these different capacities is so important. We do need them there, but they also need that transfer of knowledge from elders, from experts, and elders are experts too. But what I mean is people that are knowledge holders that can be able to feed that information down to them. There's so much, especially in government, there's a lot of corporate knowledge that people hold, and that's not either written down or recorded in documents. And it's these people that are so resourceful, but they're now getting to that point in time too where they're going to be retiring soon. So we need more people in internship, summer student opportunities that get moved up as well too, so they're able to interact with these people and build that knowledge as well. I have a lot to say, so I'm just going to leave it at that.
All the CERNAC folks, go talk to all our youth after this. One question that I have is around, there's many opportunities to work for our nations. And I'm wondering, what are your perspectives on working for government? And how do you manage dealing with sometimes some challenges in terms of your beliefs and your employer or potential employer? And this is not towards my Gwich'in youth, given you're both GWT employees. It's just more of a general question of like, is that attractive versus working for your own people? Because sometimes working for your own people is the toughest thing.
It can be attractive.
Yeah. Anyone?
I think prior to this past weekend, I might not have considered it as much as I would like just working for my First Nation, but some of the advisors that had spoken to us were actually federal government employees, and I really appreciated what they had to say. And so maybe I think that, you know, sometimes things just unfold certain ways. And so I don't know if we know where we're going to end up, but it's more about the journey of where we're going. Yeah. Oh, so shy.
Just by name? No.
That's okay. It's okay.
Anyone else have a response to that question?
Hi, sorry I didn't introduce myself earlier. I was too nervous to. Good evening, everyone. My name is Patrick Anu. I come from the Nisga'a Nation and the village of Nuayanch. One challenge I found before gaining interest in treaty implementation and just treaties in general was the barrier of all of the terminology used in the document, and just learning and trying to understand how to digest that knowledge. When I first joined my Gitlash Damix Village Government Youth Council, we had a 1-week orientation going through all of our documents, our Nisga'a Constitution, our Nisga'a Final Agreement, and whatnot. And it was quite the information dump on my head, because it was page after page of many different words that I've never really been used to. But through that week, I gained more appreciation, and I found that it truly is my passion to try and work for our future generations. I have 2 nephews at home, my 2 godsons, Conry and Corvin Stewart, and they've been a real joy in my life, and I really hope that in the future, and I hope I get to attend future events such as this and come back and hopefully make that future much brighter and better. for the youth. Thank you.
I actually have a question for each one of you, and it's only a show of hands. How many of you want to be the chief? We have some work ahead of us, right?
Put that hand up high, Dylan.
The reason why I always ask that is because I don't know if that's ever, like, I always have the question, do you think it's out of your reach? Or is it something you've witnessed and you go, my God, I'm never going to be that, right? Because, right, I'll tell you something. I just finished 8 years of being the chief of my nation. The greatest honor and the greatest job that I've ever had. The 8 years went by so quick and so much fulfilling things happened. So now again, I ask you that question. How many of you want to be the chief?
I have a question for you. Did you know that you wanted to be chief at 25?
Actually, it was actually around 25, and my epiphany story is way too long to share, but it was about 25. And when I was 27, I got married, and I kind of knew the die was cast when who I call our chief, Chief Paul Burkle, basically handed me the torch at my wife and my's wedding. And he said, well, he's going to be the chief someday. So it kind of set the cast. But for all of you, I think I speak for everybody here. Man, we should all be wearing sunglasses because the future's pretty bright for us. I'm going to allow each person a couple minutes closing comments, and then we'll wrap up this session, which has been fantastic. Whoever wants to start.
Well, I kind of wanted to respond to your question, if that's okay. That'll be my closing. So I am from Klahoose and Tla'amin nations, or sister nations, and I am actually I am a council member for Klahoose First Nation. I've been elected for 2 years, and it's the hardest thing I've ever done. I don't know if I could ever be chief, so I just thought I'd follow that up. I guess in closing, I'm just really thankful for all the knowledge that's been shared over the last, 4 days for us who have been here for the treaty simulation, and it's been great to make so many great friends and meet so many inspirational people. So thank you everyone for being here.
I'm not sure what to say for my closing remarks, but I'd like to start just by thanking all of you for being here and allowing us the space to speak this afternoon. I'd like to thank the Creator for everything, essentially. And yeah, I just want to encourage you guys to continue to be involved in the work that you do. And if there's any youth out there listening, be a role model for your community, be involved, and definitely do it for the youth. Thank you.
We'll just go down the line. So Patrick, if you can.
It really was a great experience to be here in the last 4 days, and I'm really thankful to have met so many different people, and I hope that we can keep in touch and grow from that and maybe help each other out in the future throughout these future conferences. These past 3 days, 4 days has been the most I've ever spoken publicly in my life so far. And I imagine there will be many more different opportunities. And I still find myself nervous every time I try come speak. I think it becomes, the amount becomes less and less, but it's still pretty nerve-wracking. But yeah, it was amazing. I hope to attend future events and learn and meet more people. And yeah, thank you. Kabihe.
Simgiget, Sigidem Hanak, Kubuwilsik, Lu Ams Gaudi Sugat Miss Amasas Gana, Scaldi Ginamt Doyaxil Smaget Laha Amasach Lum, Elijah Williams Swit, Li Dach Ganau Binks Nech Lak Uch We Sech Neat, Wilps Achdi Willu Gada Will Witgui, Geneda Neat, Gingolich Willi Witgui, Gitlech Dach Wilt Aga. Chiefs, matriarchs, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to be here with you all today. I'm thankful to the Creator for a beautiful day today. My name is Elijah Williams. My traditional name is Lidach Genau Binknechlak Uchwisech. I hail from Wilps Akdiwilugada in the Nishka Nation. I am of the Frog Raven tribe. I come from the community of Kincolith in the Nass Valley, and I currently reside in Terrace, British Columbia, while I continue my dogwood diploma. I'm 17, so this has been a truly great experience. I come from two very largely involved political families. Hearing my grandfather, Stuart Doolan's experiences and his stories during the negotiations of our Nishka Treaty, it's really what pushed me to come here and have this experience. You know, it was truly great to sit in and take part in the simulation. I'm just very thankful for this opportunity to be here and to be here with you all today. Thank you. Gebiedslicke.
I had so much to say before, and now I'm just running out of energy, too. I'm really grateful to be here and to have absorbed all of the information from very prominent elders, as well as leaders and community members, and just all sorts of different people, and some that I have been fangirling for a long, long time, to finally meet them and see them in person, and thank them for all of the work that they have done, because there's a lot of work that is out there that has been very inspiring to me and has also fueled my passion in treaty education. So I just want to say Adekanansi, which means take care of yourself, and safe travels back home. I hope if you're interested in connecting, please do come see me afterwards. I'll be happy to talk your ears off about treaty talks or whatever. And that, Masi, I'll pass it on.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. All right, just to touch on that question really quickly about being a future leader, like I think, like unreachable, you think you used that term about like maybe that's not something I ever envisioned for myself, but you know, I heard somebody use the term urban Indian yesterday, and I didn't grow up in my home community, and I, for many years of my life, felt disconnected from my language and culture. And the last time I was up here giving my speech on my treaty simulation experience, I talked about how it was my responsibility to connect, and that's on me. And within the last 3 years, like I feel like I don't feel like I've taken that initiative yet, and like I know I feel like there's almost like this sense of shame that comes with being disconnected, and it's sad, I know. And but I know that there are language speakers in Yellowknife. You know, I know that there are Gwich'in people there. So like I will and I'm gonna keep myself accountable this time to reach out to those people and take the next step and reconnecting with like who I truly am, which is a Gwich'in woman. So thank you.
All right. I have to tell you, by far and away, the most powerful session of the whole 2 days. Would you agree? The other thing about leadership, and it is, we tend to more and more these days liken our political leaders to the rest of Canadian political leaders. And we almost treat them in the same fashion today. We disrespect them. And there's a fundamental difference. And if you disagree with me, well, you have to jump up and down. But for me, when I took that on, it was not because I wanted power and control. It was not because I wanted authority. It was because my people said, this is your responsibility. And so sometimes responsibility is foisted upon you at a time when you don't think you're ready for it. But those people who are around you and who surround you every day and watch you, they know when you're ready. And they give you that responsibility. And every one of these leaders here that are up here today with me probably concur. Yep. That at some point in time, you'll be pulled aside and somebody says, it's your time. And it's a responsibility. It's not power and authority like the other people do their politics. Ours is about our time to take our place. And so with that, I'm going to ask each and every one of you to step to the front, come off the stage, step to the front with these three. Have a request from my good friend Jordan he wants to take a picture of this panel in particular, something that we can post for posterity. Thank you. Thank you very much.